Hey guys, welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. It's May 1st, 2021. And I'm
Flies.
here,
Welcome back, everybody.
here with my partner Steve, the Monahan brothers. And lots going on in sports. Steve, how was your week?
It was good. The NFL draft took place this week, and
We're going to cover that a little bit.
I know you're happy because you were getting a little angst with the coverage and just beating it to death, so on and so forth.
Oh God, it's been going on for 3 months. It's been
Yeah.
too much. I like Mel Kiper Jr., but for 3 months, him and Todd McShay,
Yeah, but then we won't hear from Mel and McShay,
Yep.
for 9 months.
Right.
But that's what they do.
Yep.
They're pretty good at it.
They finally pulled it off, and we're going to talk about the draft in a little bit. But we have a monologue to do today.
You do.
I do. And here's my monologue. Listen, this is a sports show, and we talk about football and baseball. But today is May 1st, the first Saturday in May. And what does that mean? It's the Kentucky Derby.
Yes, it is.
And, for me, it's the Super Bowl of horse racing. And I know a lot of people don't get it, but, there's got to be something to it because people have parties. We were graciously invited to one of our loyal listeners, Corey's annual Kentucky Derby party, which unfortunately we're not going to be able to make. But you know what? This is it's such a great thing. I know there's hundreds of racetracks across the country, and when you look at it, you have Keeneland and you have Saratoga, and you know how I feel about Saratoga. But this is Churchill Downs, and it's the first Saturday in May, and there's 20 horses running for the Kentucky Derby today. And we're going to talk about our picks in a little bit. But the gallantry of it, the pomp and circumstance, I know some people think it's over the top, but I think it's awesome. And all the great horse owners and jockeys, this is their Super Bowl, and this is the race that people wanna see. And I just hope some of our sports fans understand that horse racing is indeed a sport and something special about the Kentucky Derby. I can't wait. And when I think about the Kentucky Derby, you have, a lot of people have gotten caught up with Triple Crown winners. And you and I have seen some Triple Crown winners over the course of time. And it's pretty rare, but you can't win the Triple Crown if you don't win the Kentucky Derby. And it's the first in the the 3 races that determine it. And it's spectacular. It's beautiful. I get it. The hats are a little over the top and stuff, but you know what? Everybody sit down, have a mint julep if you do, but enjoy the Kentucky Derby. It's great, and we're going to talk about it. But the thing I recall about the Kentucky Derby, and there's one thing that stood out, and you and I have talked about this Secretariat and how how unbelievable it is. Him winning the Triple Crown was one thing, but he won the Kentucky Derby, and we call it the fastest 2 minutes in sports. He was under 2 minutes. How about that? And there's only been one other horse. It was Monarchus about, 15, 20 years ago. I don't know what was going on there, but when you think about it, this is the 147th running of the Kentucky Derby. He was under 2 minutes, and he went on to be Time Man of the Year and one of the greatest sports athletes, and I put that in quotes, but he was. It was spectacular to watch, and today's the Kentucky Derby, so enjoy it.
Yeah, good monologue. The Kentucky Derby is very special.
It is.
Like you said, it's tradition with the hats and the mint julep. I'll pass on the mint julep, by the way.
But there's one thing I want to say. There's a picture, and they do it every year. It's like inside the rail around the first turn. You can see in the background the grandstand of Churchill Downs and those famous, spires or whatever they call them. It's such a classic picture, and I just hope everybody gets out and, listen, COVID's starting to run down, so you can actually get together for a Kentucky Derby party this year.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. They have a new starting gate this year.
Okay. Yeah.
That's cool.
Not to me. It's
No.
just, line up 20
But
horses
no,
and off we
normally,
go.
yeah, normally it's 14
Yeah.
is the gate, and then they have a makeshift of 6, and now they're unveiling
Right.
this 20, gate thing, which is pretty cool. But are we talking about the Derby now or
We
later?
are. Let's get right into it
Right.
because there's, like I said, it's a full field this year, right?
Yeah.
Couple of horses, essential
and
quality.
where you get picked and where you're starting out is
Well, that's
it's
the
half
whole
the
thing.
battle right there.
Tuesday was post position day.
That's what I mean.
So you have a couple of the favorites, I guess, right now is essential quality.
Right.
But you know what? It's a faux pas with me about thinking a gray colored horse is going to win the Kentucky Derby. So I'm scratching him off my.
I'll go right to it. You mentioned this horse last week, but doing a little homework this week, I'm all in on Hot Rod Charlie.
That's my guy right
Yeah,
there.
I'm going with that pick. Doug O'Neill's the trainer. Actually, I heard an interview with him this morning, and I like his chances.
I do. That's my horse. I got 2 horses I really, really like. Hot Rod Charlie, finished first in the Louisiana Derby, ridden by Flavian Pratt this time. Right? He's got a Derby win under his belt, and Medina Spirit. You know what? When you look at the field and you see the jockeys, you know what? That matters. And John Velasquez is on board of Medina Spirit. So those are my 2 horses. I like them to come, at least one of them finish 1 or 2.
And these are all, some of these horses have bloodlines to like Tapas.
Oh, they all have
Right.
bloodlines.
Yeah, I know.
I
Like
mean,
Nyquist, some of the past horses that have run.
And Known Agenda, listen, that's a good horse too. He can cause some trouble and show up. He's actually going off as the second favorite. But there's one horse I'm just going to put out there, Rock Your World. That's a good looking horse, I got to tell you. Won the Santa Anita Derby this year. So, these are top quality
And live
horses.
to tell about it.
I know, we've talked about the Santa
Yeah.
Anita, but Joel Rosario is on board there. He could cause some trouble. But this is something that all of horse owners and jockeys, this is their Super Bowl, and it's spectacular, and hopefully it's going to be a beautiful day.
I'm
and
sure it will be.
We'll see how it goes.
It's beautiful here in the Northeast. I'm sure the weather will be fine in Kentucky. And
Yep.
I think there's 45,000 going to be attending
Yeah,
the
I
race.
guess that's 25% or whatever, but
It's better than nothing.
But the thing is that it's now the first leg of the Triple Crown instead of last year.
Of
when
the
it was,
Crown Jewel. The first of the Crown Jewel.
But those are our picks. Listen, send us some feedback at sportswithmonoandmono.com, and hopefully you're going to, I think post time is around 6:50 Eastern Standard Time. So
And then just real quick on the Kentucky Derby, you mentioned Secretariat. I was 8 years old. But to me, my all-time favorite Kentucky Derby was Alydar and Affirmed. 1978, Steve Cawthon. And
Yep.
those races between those 2 horses were literally each time by
Classics.
A nose.
classics.
And Affirmed
Yep.
every time by a nose.
Yeah, but we've had, like I said, it's the first leg of the Triple Crown. We've had California Chrome and Big Brown and Funny Side and Smarty Jones, right? But you got to win this to win the Triple Crown. We've had a couple. We've had Justify and American Pharaoh over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
But enjoy it, and
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's spectacular.
Right? Get your bets in, OTB.
Get your bets in here.
That's it.
So enjoy it. Let's move on, Steve. We got some. First of all, I wanted to send out a shout to our sponsor, Coriano Trucking, who's recovered from his, distress in the medical world, but he's back in, and we thank them for their support, continued support for our show.
Thank you, Guy. Glad you're feeling better.
So what do you want to move on to? How about
The NFL draft.
Yeah.
Let's get right to it.
I was kidding.
I know.
Take it away.
No, with the the number one overall pick was Trevor Lawrence. No surprise,
which we knew, right?
right? But Jacksonville's second round pick, Travis Etienne, home run,
Yeah, you've been on his bandwagon for a while, for sure.
home run for Jacksonville.
I agree.
Yep.
I
The
agree.
Jets, Zach Wilson. We talked about it. They were all in on them.
Overall, when I look at the Jets, Zach Wilson, great pick, right? And they got a guy to protect them too in the first round.
Home run.
Yep.
So the Jets moved up a little bit further.
I'm going to give the Jets a B plus
To get this
for that
Valero
draft.
Smith. This guy is the real deal. He's going to be a left guard, and he looks every bit the part of a really good offensive lineman.
Giants, though. How about this? Let's talk about that.
Well,
real
let's
quick.
work our way down. So, no surprises really, other than Trey Lance at 3.
What, you don't think that was a surprise?
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, it was a surprise.
I think you and I both thought it was going to be Mac Jones. Right?
We did until we saw the picture.
Oh my God!
Would you like to relay the picture?
I sent the
Describe
picture to
it.
Steve, which one of my friends, he's a Patriots fan, and there was a picture of Mac Jones after the championship game
With his
this
shirt
past
off
year,
in the locker room.
and he looked like me. I mean, looked like me.
It looked like Billy Kilmer, Sonny Jurgensen.
We were laughing, right? And now he's going to the Patriots. But you know what?
He looked like he's never been in the weight room.
I don't know if he even knew where it was. Like me in the library in college.
Oh,
right?
God. Absolutely. But to our loyal listener, Tony, I'm sure she exhaled deeply on Thursday.
Yeah, she's a big supporter of the Trey Lance pick.
Good.
And I like this kid a lot.
Well,
He's a great kid.
I think that's a good pick. That's who they scouted. That's who they zeroed in on. So
Wouldn't you think a little bit, he's a Division
I just
II
can't
guy.
say I don't. I'm not going to sit here and say I know enough about Trey Lance.
I watched him play a couple times.
He's
but-
played 17 games.
I know.
Granted, he went 17-0.
Right.
But again, San Francisco's all in on him, and that's their pick.
But
So
if you wanted to say overall, was it a reach to go for a Division II guy without? He's only thrown 300 and something passes.
Carson
and-
Wentz came from North Dakota.
I get it, and how'd that work out? So, but
Still
he's a
the
great
league.
kid, though. He's a great kid. But there was so much going on draft night, right? And let's ask about your Cowboys. They got Michael
Well,
Parkins.
let's stay a little bit ahead of the curve here. I think Ryan Pace of the Chicago Bears saved his job. I think this guy had the most pressure coming into the draft. No way you could justify Andy Dalton.
Why? Because of the history of the Bears drafting, bowl of soup quarterbacks
Sure.
kind of thing.
I mean, they swung and missed on Trubisky.
Got it.
But Justin Fields is was considered one of the top quarterbacks. So, the Bears called the Giants, and the Giants took the bait. The Giants get a first-round pick for next year, and we're going to get to the Giants pick.
We will.
But the Bears made their play. They got their quarterback, and Ryan Pace saved his job.
Yeah.
So the Eagles and Cowboys then. So, my Cowboys, we were all in on the corners, J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, but they got picked.
Yep.
So they fielded a call. The Eagles wanted Devonta Smith, so they jumped up. The Cowboys moved 2 slots back, and I am thrilled that I got Micah Parsons.
From a
Absolutely thrilled
And
with that
listen,
pick.
from a Giants perspective, they needed an offensive tackle, an offensive lineman, and it didn't work out. And they took, the guy from Florida. And
Well, this is the big debate here. Do the Giants make the trade, or Rashard Slater is sitting there? I say they take Rashard Slater because they got this guy is going to be an All-Pro.
okay,
Okay, you got to protect Daniel Jones. Win now. You have a plethora of wide receivers. So you drop to 20, and I get Gettleman got a first-round pick for next year. But I'm not worrying about next year. We talked to our brother Tom, who's a diehard Giant fan. He is beside himself.
Yeah.
He thinks was awful. And
Well, I'm going to say if that trade didn't take place between the Cowboys and the Eagles, because you know what, as much as they needed an offensive lineman, if Devontae Smith was still there, I think they would have taken him.
They would have taken him.
And, you know,
But the good news for the Giant fans is that they got a budding rapper in Young Juke.
let's not pass judgment on.
I'm just saying.
Draft day interviews, but
Well, I am.
but it was pretty exciting, right? The first round, we had Kings of Leon in the background all night, and you were able to hug. It was pretty cool. They brought out a fan, you know, who sat in Roger Goodell's chair from the COVID draft last year. It was kind of funny, but of course it dragged out all night. What was your biggest surprise in the draft, Steve? What do you think?
I guess New England getting Mac Jones at 15. But again, we know the history of Belichick and Saban.
And of course, it was his, quote unquote, first time he's drafted a quarterback in the first round, right? We know Tom
Listen,
Brady.
despite the picture of Mac Jones, okay,
but you have to see
I'm
it.
still all in on Mac Jones. Okay?
Me too. I like the kid.
So I think that's a home run for New England.
Yeah. But you know what? There was one pick that you and I we picked six picks before they came up was the Steelers.
Yeah.
Najee Harris.
Yeah. I
He's
saw that as a fit from day one.
And if he stays healthy, he's going to go down as Franco Harris and that kind of lore in Pittsburgh Steelers history.
Big Najee Harris
I
fan.
know you are.
Big fan.
I know you are. Me too.
And people, I think, should look out for this. The Cardinals selected this Zaven Collins, linebacker.
Yeah, from Tulsa.
This kid, I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Zaven Collins, this kid, this is a home run pick for the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are doing very well
Yeah.
in the offseason. J.J. Watt, so on and so forth. Watch out for this kid. I think this kid's got all pro written all over him.
Yep.
But outside of that, the draft's still going on. You get value today.
I'm going to say the one player that I thought was going to be a first rounder and he didn't last until he lasted until like almost the middle of the second round was Kamara from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I don't know. There must be some dirty laundry or something that he didn't go sooner than that. I mean, he's a stud. He's going to be a great player in the league.
Yeah.
He ended up going to the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
Hosted the draft this year, Cleveland. The mistake on the lake. It actually looked pretty nice. It looked like they cleaned that city up a little bit.
As far as my Dallas Cowboys go, all my picks were defense. Thank you.
You needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got a corner. And the third round, we got the defensive tackle from UCLA. His name I can't even pronounce.
Well, they got some holes to fill.
But he is a beast.
Because
This
Sean
is a
Lee
great
retired,
pick.
right? And what do you think of that?
Yeah, Sean Lee retired, and you know how I feel about Sean Lee.
I know.
Sean Lee's going to be a defensive coordinator, if not a head coach, 10 years from now.
Yeah.
He's
Or take the easy route, go sit in the booth and talk about the.
no, I think he's more X's and O's and wants to be in the locker room. But what injuries aside, Sean Lee, I couldn't have been happier
I know.
with him.
But injuries aside, you got to say.
But that's why we got Micah Parsons stepping right in. Here.
Right. That was a good call by the Cowboys.
And the NFL is starting to be lax with jersey numbers and stuff. So I'm just going to assume Micah's going to wear number 11.
Yeah. But that was a good pick for them. And you know what? When I look back on Sean Lee's career, he was really. He came out of Penn State, and we were so psyched, and but injuries kind of took over. He didn't reach his full potential. He could have been a great, legendary Dallas Cowboy linebacker, but unfortunately, injuries beset him. But you're right. I think he's going to be a coach or a color commentator or something because he was a great player, big loss. But the Cowboys for the draft filled that hole. He's going to be a good player, this Parsons.
I agree. Listen, I'm thrilled with Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
But like I said, the Cowboys, to their credit, all defense to this point, and we'll see how it translates.
But
So
it was a good draft, and it looks like the Carolina Panthers are all in on Sam Darnold.
yeah,
Right?
Carolina, took J.C. Horn, who is this guy's pretty good. He's a first corner to go, son of Joe Horn.
Yeah.
Patrick Surtain is second. Denver snatched him up. So
Wasn't Joe Horn famous for getting his cell phone after he scored a touchdown
yeah, I
on
think he
Monday
hit
Night
it.
Football?
Yeah, he hit it in the
Goalpost
Yeah.
cushion.
Ah, it's great, Joe. It's one of my all-time favorite stunts.
Hey, but listen, the draft was good. You know, it's all set now. It's over. And one last thing before we move off the NFL, this Aaron Rodgers thing.
I don't give it any thought. But I
But
will.
how could you not give it any thought?
No, I will
mean,
say I'm disappointed that this story comes out on draft day.
Yeah, but I think this is all Aaron Rodgers orchestrated.
That's right.
Though.
That's my point.
And he's pulling a Brett Favre. He's a Tiki Barber. He's tarnishing his legend for what?
The only teams that would trade for him would be like the Raiders or something.
But he's pulling a Deshaun Watson. He's pulling a James Harden, saying, send me somewhere else. And the Packers are saying, we're not going to do it.
Listen, I've soured on Aaron Rodgers.
We like him. His career is, forget it.
But
unbelievable.
He's turned into a pompous
I agree. That's my point here.
douche.
That's my point. I said a whiny little
fill in the
you know.
expletive. I wasn't happy with the timing.
And is this all because they drafted Jordan Love last year? Well, he's 38 years old. They got a plan for
You
the
think
future.
I really care that? And then Matt LaFleur, and then Ted Thompson, and everybody flew out to. Aaron, is there anything we can do?
And then we kicked the field goal instead of letting me try to
How
win
about
the
you
game.
keep your mouth shut and collect your paycheck and go to work?
Because he wants to be the new Alex Trebek.
Good.
Right?
So
And he did a pretty good job
he
on
did,
it, by the
but
way.
finish your career first, okay?
And it's so funny because when we look back and we just talked about the draft on draft day, he was that quarterback sitting around waiting for the phone to ring.
I'll never forget it. Yeah,
exactly.
He dropped.
But he ended up having a Hall of Fame career.
Oh,
but
he exceeded expectations.
I mean, I think he's got a good shot at, if he stays with Green Bay, they could win a Super Bowl. I don't think people are saying, well, they don't put the talent around him. I'm saying, of course they do. He's had quality teams. He could win a Super Bowl. He's got one.
Yeah,
Not multiples.
You should have multiples.
But anyway, I thought about it, and we, that it came out on draft day, and you're right. Who orchestrated it, and was it a PR move? But like I said with Harden, and hold your ground, Green Bay Packers. You don't have to trade him. If he wants to retire, let him retire.
They're not trading him.
No, they're not going to trade
He's
him.
not going anywhere.
But if he's going to sit out, like he's
Go
he's
ahead,
a legend,
sit out.
how's that working out for the Deshaun Watson?
Right. I don't think Aaron has had 22 masseuses, as far as I know.
But so the NFL, the draft is over, and the whole before the
it's
season
still going
starts.
on today, but
A couple months away from training camp.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. But the teams, again, they filled their cupboard, and that's what the scouting and everything's about. So I love it.
I do too. It was exciting.
Micah Parsons, baby.
Woo! All right, let's not put him as Lawrence Taylor right away.
Not yet.
I like him though. Good pick.
No, you like him more than you like him.
But your guy Teddy Bridgewater on the move again, got traded to the Denver Broncos.
Fine.
You're one of his biggest fans,
I am.
but he's been on 6 teams. He's going to be the Ryan Fitzpatrick,
Fine.
break the record for most quarterbacks.
There's a reason he's on 6 teams because he's listen, he's a
You
good,
can look at it that way.
he's
There's
a
a
good
reason.
guy. No, I got nothing bad about Teddy Bridgewater.
No, I like the guy, but it just seems funny. This is like his 5th
Hey.
team in 5 years.
It helps Drew Lock be competitive because if Denver's in on Drew Lock, then Teddy Bridgewater gives him competition.
Denver got a good running back, that Javante Williams
Yeah.
from North Carolina.
Yeah,
actually.
the guy-
he was high on Mel's board
Well,
for
yeah,
sure.
he was actually considered probably on some boards the top running back.
Right.
But again, back to my original thing, I think Jacksonville getting Travis Etienne and Lawrence is huge.
He fumbles the ball a lot, so that's his only blemish, if you will, coming off the draft board.
I'm a fan.
Got it. Hey, let's move on to the NBA because LeBron came back last night after a 6-week hiatus with a bad ankle.
Yeah.
So talking
Yeah,
about
he had a bad PR week the week before.
yeah.
deleting tweets and so on and so forth. So it was a bad week for the king on that front, on the social aspect.
But
Of
look,
society.
the NBA season's going to be winding down, so we know what's happening. Harden takes off, and then Durant
Nets-
takes off, and then Kyrie again for personal reasons.
I think
takes
I
off.
think the big three of the Nets. I think all their vacation days have been used up, and then they'll get ready to make the push.
Exactly, because they've been rested all year.
Sure.
So.
Why play?
But how about this? We talked. It seems like every week we bring up some baseball or sports card sells for record numbers.
Yeah.
LeBron James rookie card.
Yeah.
$5.2 million dollars.
I was stunned by that because we said on the show the Mickey Mantle rookie card. I think it was not even 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Broke the record.
Broke the record, right? A Brady football card broke the record
That's
for that.
That's up there too.
Right? Always with the Honest Wagner, Wayne Gretzky.
Honest Wagner spinning in his grave right now, saying, "Well, what's going on here?"
Right, he probably got $5 and a pack of cigarettes for that.
Absolutely, pack of Lucky Strikes.
But listen, the NBA that's going on. But there was one interesting thing I wanted to mention. We're talking about the NBA. Dr. J went on record and picked his first two teams, right? His first two starting five that he would pick all time. And listen, Dr. J has the right to. He was considered a legend for sure.
I consider him a legend.
But the controversy was that it was, out of the first two teams, right? First five, second five, the king, LeBron James, was not on that list.
Okay.
And, so I was going over it, and he brought it up, of course, the Bird, the Elgin Baylors, and Kareems, and Bill Russell, and Wilt Chamberlain. So, there was no room for LeBron James. That's saying something. Oscar Robertson was on his team.
Of course.
Jerry West was on his team.
I mean, Julius Erving is what, 70-something years old by now?
Right.
He's got to be 70.
Oh, he's definitely every bit of 70.
Right? So, what, it was supposed to knock Julius Erving because, he's coming up with a team with guys that he saw up close and personal.
But when I was looking at the list of the guys that he put on, I said...
Was Michael Jordan on his team?
Of course he was.
Then that's all that matters.
Right, but I was going through it and I looked and I said there was one place I said possibly you could take this guy off and put LeBron James in, and that would be Karl Malone. And he's got a Hall of Fame resume.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal.
For me personally...
But would you put James ahead of Malone?
Me personally?
Yes.
Done deal.
I think so too.
Yeah, and it's no slight against the mailman.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you got to find a spot for LeBron James.
But out of those top 10 that Dr. J picked, Elgin Baylor was one of them.
Yeah,
And,
we talked about him notable passing not
Yep.
even a month ago.
You got
Elgin
it.
Baylor was, I got no qualms with that.
And I honest to God, I never really saw, Elgin Baylor play. We were a little too young.
Right. But I did the research when he passed away. And,
Right.
and he's every bit deserving.
Exactly.
No question.
So, Dr. J saying, listen, it's not a slight at LeBron, but you got these guys. You can't keep them off the list.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool. I
fine.
thought it was interesting, So, listen, let's move on. In our next
J.R. Smith didn't make the team?
John Starks. Yeah, that's shocking.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh.
Shocking.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Major League Baseball. But first, this segment is sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut. Loyal sponsor of the show, week after week.
Week after week.
And we thank them. So Major League Baseball, right? Aaron Judge, of course, as we talked about, had a little lower body soreness the other day,
Yeah.
so took a couple days off.
But he hit a grand slam last
Yep.
night. So all is well. Not.
And here, I just wanted to bring this up because I'm sure our fans, and send us a comment at sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com. Madison Baumgartner, and this goes back to the double-header rule of
Yep.
playing 7 innings in the
Okay.
double-header. I pitched a no-hitter.
That is correct.
And
A no-hitter.
As far as the record books go, it never happened.
Well, let me tell you something.
Are you good with that or
no,
not
I'm
good
not.
with it?
It's a no-hitter.
No.
You know why? Because Major League Baseball sanctioned it. Okay?
I know.
Them the rules. I get it,
But aren't we
Officially,
traditionalists? We're
that-
traditionalists, and a baseball game
but
is
it has
9
no
innings.
application in this instant.
think
Major League Baseball's rules are 7-inning doubleheader. Okay? Those are the rules.
which makes my skin crawl.
It
by
makes
the way,
we talked about how it makes her skin crawl.
Yeah.
But guess what? It better be Major League Baseball better rethink this and acknowledge
so
it
change the
as
rule.
a no-hitter.
Then change the
It's
rule.
a no-hitter.
Because when you think about no hitters, guys have gone into the 7th and 8th, and
We
know,
can give you 1,000 where
but
they
it's
lost it
9
with 2
innings.
outs in the 9th inning.
I don't think it should because they made a
It's
bogus,
a no-hitter. It's a no-hitter.
They made a bogus rule that it's 7 innings. It's
Then it's a no-hitter.
okay.
I really don't understand the debate here.
I think
And
the
I'm not
debate, I think the
singling you
debate
out.
is easy, but it's 9 innings you got to pitch.
We all know that.
We know how difficult it is to get the last 6 outs in a 9
But the
inning
official
game.
rule now is it's a 7-inning game.
Yeah, all right.
So it's a no-hitter.
All right. One of our listeners, Diego, sent me a text asking who's going to be the first manager in New York to lose his job, Luis Rojas or Aaron Boone.
Well, Boone's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's got somebody looking out for him because they're in trouble. And I get it that the Yankees are hitting.
It's May 1st. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm concerned. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, there's reason to be concerned because the Red Sox are hot as hell too, right now.
Yeah. I'm just concerned that Gary Sanchez is in like a kind of a slump right now.
I think we've kind of put this on him for
Not
a
like
while
him.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got to go with Higashioka. We can, he's filling
See,
in.
the
for-
good news is we're getting closer to the end of the Gary Sanchez era because I think after this year, won't be seeing Gary Sanchez no more.
We've been talking about that
Yeah,
for 2
but-
years.
yeah,
At what
but-
point is it going to happen?
Well, you know what? I'll give the Yankees credit that they've
They should have signed
given him every
Miyamoto.
opportunity to produce.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, but he's not the answer.
And listen, here's a little thing I watched.
But Garrett Cole is the answer. 4-1.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But I also
but our
watched. I
pitching
watched
is-
Jacob pitch the other night
Yeah.
again. Lost gave up 1 run.
Again, how uncanny.
Exactly.
We just talked about it.
You know what?
I did my monologue last week about it.
That's why I brought it up. But I looked at his numbers. He could possibly be the next entry into the Hall of Fame with the lowest amount of wins. He has got such bad. He pitched a great game against the Red Sox and gave up 1 run and they lost 1-0. But if you look at his record, his career record, he's only got 73 wins.
That's right.
It's unbelievable.
And about 30. I saw somewhere.
His ERA is outstanding. I mean,
But I think there's like 33 games that he should have won.
exactly.
Like literally.
Exactly. But he's going to the Hall of Fame, but he's going
But
to
I
have the
find
lowest number
I
of
find
wins.
this to be so one of those odd things. I can't put my head around it. He loses 1-0.
There's
2-1.
the old saying in baseball, it's not how you pitch one day, it's when you pitch. That kind of thing. He pitches, gives up 1 run and loses the game. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is.
But you're right, and Jim Walsh, one of our fans, brought it up. He goes, we're watching some greatness here. And I go, absolutely. But when you look at his numbers, and when you're talking about numbers, I wanted to bring this up because, you and I are big fans of his, Mike Trout. I was looking at his career numbers. And when you think about career numbers, and he's arguably the best player in the game.
Yes.
He's only driven in 100 runs 3 times in his 11 seasons. Isn't that surprising?
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
He's never had 200 hits in a season.
Okay.
Surprising?
Yeah.
Exactly. Because when you look at him, I mean, he's great in the field, no question. But when you look at his numbers and you line him up against, a Lou Gehrig or something like that, it was surprisingly.
I would.
He's a 300 career hitter, no doubt. But I was very
run,
surprised by
there.
that. Because we talked about Judge and how many games he misses and so forth, like Garoppolo in football.
Right.
But Mike Trout, he's missed a lot of games over the course of time. He's had like 4 years where he's had more than 500 at bats. And I'm not. This isn't a dismissive thing. I'm just saying. I looked at the numbers and I was shocked because 100 RBIs in today's day and age isn't over the top. and he's only had it 3 times.
I would say that's probably most
Surprising.
surprising to me. The 200 hits, he's not like a singles hitter, right? Where 200 hits, where, you're hitting for average, 340, that type of thing.
Agreed.
So I'm not surprised on that. But yeah, I think that's interesting.
It was a surprising stat. It just, to
But
me,
he's still the best player in baseball.
listen, if you're gonna,
As we go to broadcast.
and you know what, when we talk about Major League Baseball, there was one almost shocking moment, and it didn't turn out as bad as it could have. Bryce Harper took one right in the face, and thank God it missed his nose, because if it hit him square on the nose, I mean, it would have been a tomato dropped off the Empire State Building. But you know what? It hit him, and it's disturbing even to watch. But he's actually okay on it, and
It bounced right up.
but
Yeah.
But the first thing you think of when you see something,
Tony C.
Tony C. Exactly. This wasn't
Tony
scripted, folks.
Conigliaro for our audience.
And it did ruin his career.
Sure.
And Stanton took one in the face
late
too.
late 60s Boston Red Sox.
God, this was so frightening.
He was going to be the next Yaz type of thing.
Yeah.
And boy, he
Rookie of the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he took one right in the face.
Yep.
I mean, there's a picture of the Tony C. getting
Oh,
post.
the day after.
you
Oh, my
talk,
God.
Oh my God! You talk about
Face just blown apart.
purple,
And Harper, you look at him today, you'd say that didn't
look
happen.
like thank God it glanced off his nose.
Oh, because
Like,
if it went square on his nose.
if it went cheek, forget it.
God.
But Harper, it was a scary moment.
And you know what? He took it in stride, and didn't toss out Cabrera.
The guy, and then he, this guy was wild. But actually, Joe Girardi,
he hit the Gregorius on his next
right.
pitch.
So, but Joe
Girardi went bananas.
He had
actually.
a good Earl Weaver, Billy Martin moment
Yes, he
there.
did.
But he
Yeah.
was pissed,
Turned the hat around.
and rightfully so.
Yep. But thank God he's all right. But that's baseball. So
Thank God we didn't have to see Billy and Earl have to take their mask down, a COVID mask, to continue their arguing.
Earl Weaver would have had a hole in his mask
you
so he could
kidding me?
smoke a cigarette.
They
with
would have
his
taken
mask
the
on.
mask and wiped home plate with it.
So listen, everything's going on, but enjoy the Kentucky Derby today and so forth. One note on kind of a big news in the world of women's college basketball. Kim Mulkey leaves
Yeah.
Baylor, goes back to LSU.
Sure, she's a Louisiana native.
She has played at Louisiana Tech.
Yeah,
but,
but that is from women's college basketball. She's an icon, and I think she was at Baylor 21 years, won I think 3 national titles.
Yeah.
Had Brittany Grenier, who was 15 feet tall. Or
right,
whatever.
but she's taken over an LSU program that's been in the doldrums over the past few years. So,
but it's a good move for
but
her.
you watch, in 2 or 3 years, LSU will be in the women's Final Four.
They should.
Yep.
They should.
But that was kind of news breaking. I just wanted to mention. So let's move on to our, unfortunately.
Well, what about hockey?
Well,
Let's talk about our New York Rangers.
right. We're getting down. There's like less than 10 games left.
Right. We're
But they can't beat the
I'm
Islanders.
officially putting a fork in them. Okay, I said all along. I think we had a good year. Unfortunately, the first 15 games killed us. Lafreniere is starting to show his talent because they moved him up to the top line.
Yeah, he plays with a
playing
good
with
line.
Zibanejad and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So you're still
I'm
thinking
just
David
saying-
Quinn is out?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'd like to say I was consistent all year.
I think they're not out of it
Saying
yet, though.
now that there's 4 teams that they just couldn't catch. So for some reason, the Islanders have their number.
They do. For sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Actually, Quinn does have 1 more year on his contract, but I still think it's time to make the move to a bona fide coach.
All right. But listen, NHL, we're down less than 10 games, so the playoffs are going to start, and it's exciting.
I can't listen. I can't.
Playoff hockey is great.
I get it. So,
And
but I'm
Connor
not
Mc-
disappointed in the Rangers. Is my point.
Yep. And Connor McDavid's still the best player in the league.
Sure
I
is.
think. Scores 3 points every night. Remember, the last guy to do that, we fight over the newspapers, see how many points Wayne Gretzky scored that night.
You'd have 5 every night.
Yeah. But
Ah,
listen,
tough night for the great one. He only had 2 goals and 4 assists. What's up?
that means Messier or Anderson had
Must
3
have been
goals.
a back-to-back night.
Exciting though. NHL playoffs coming up. It seems like it was just ended. The Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup, right?
Quick NHL retirement. Ryan Miller finally announced his retirement.
Surprising to me. 40 years old. I remember he came up like he was an 18-year-old guy, right? With the Sabres.
That's correct. 28 years ago.
All-time winningest American-born
Correct.
goaltender.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have got that if you put that trivia question up yesterday.
I'm not saying I would have, but I'm sure I would have thought of him.
Yeah. He's retired. And the guy Shaw from the Blackhawks won 2 Stanley Cups, retiring for concussion purposes.
Okay.
I don't know why there's not more of that in the NHL. These guys knock each other left and right all night long.
Right.
Unbelievable.
So Stanley Cup playoffs are about 2 weeks away from starting.
Right. Let's move into our unfortunate notable passings. And the first one that happened was Mike Davis from the Raiders,
Yep.
65 years old.
Yep.
And we certainly remember the moments he had with the Raiders against big interception against Brian Sipe, right?
Yeah, huge interception.
81 divisional playoff game.
Correct.
It was unbelievable.
Mike Davis never made the Pro Bowl. Mike Davis was an outstanding football player,
No
an
question.
integral part of the Raiders.
Yeah.
And I was sad to hear his passing.
He win 1 or 2 Super Bowls. Yeah.
Well, he won with. He was definitely on the '77 team. I would say
He might have been on the Plunkett team.
Yeah, he's got 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was a good football player. But, you know, if you're a football fan, you know who Mike Davis
Right,
is.
and then Mike Davis, got lost in the shuffle with the Raiders with Lester Hayes and Mike Haynes, that type of thing. But
Yeah.
Mike Davis, R.I.P., had a really solid NFL career.
No question.
Yeah, it was sad to hear about that.
You know what? There was another former player, Geno Hayes, actually
Yeah.
died of liver failure or something.
Yeah.
He had some major health.
Florida State linebacker.
And he was only 33 years
Right.
old. Played for the Jags
Cardinals,
and
I think
Bucks.
Cardinals too. Bucks, definitely.
The Bears played for the Bears.
The Bears. Yeah, but again, 33 years old.
Yeah.
I remember him. Too short, unfortunately. So,
Yep.
sorry to hear about
Yeah,
that.
he was a good player, but
Yeah.
that's certainly notable. You know what? Steve and I have probably come across. We're history guys. We're astronaut guys, and Michael Collins passed away.
Yeah.
The pilot of Apollo 11, and that was like, whoa, that guy was awesome. And, he was 90 years old, died of cancer, but we know how important that Apollo 11 mission was.
We eat that up, and Michael Collins he's a great American.
Big time.
Come on, he's an astronaut, 90 years old.
Yep.
I mean, historic Apollo 11.
1969.
Absolutely, and yeah. I mean,
I can't help but think, I told you, Norm MacDonald has this stand-up, and he brought it up about Michael Collins.
Absolutely.
It's one of the funniest bits. YouTube it. Norm MacDonald, he went to the moon, but he didn't get to walk on the moon like Buzz and Neil Armstrong. But what an American, and he handled it with class.
just to give you a little hint, he's driving by, orbiting, looks down. Hey, are they playing golf down there?
What is that, a dune buggy? It's so funny, watch it, but you know what? That's an honor to Michael Collins, and we would
my God.
we would be remiss on our show if we didn't.
Hey,
mention
they
it.
didn't tell me they were playing golf.
What an American, and that leaves
Yes,
on.
Michael Collins, R.I.P. And
So out of that three team crew, 3-guy crew, Buzz Aldrin is still with us.
Yeah.
But Michael Collins, we salute you.
absolutely.
Another NFL guy, and he was on Joe Namath's Super Bowl team with the New York Jets, Pete Lemons. What a crazy story, but he passed away. He drowned actually in a major league fishing tournament.
Yeah, and now he sleeps with the fishes.
I know.
It was too easy, folks.
I knew the Luca Brasi thing was coming, but
What the hell is this?
unfortunately,
It means Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes. But
he's only
I'm not
77
making
years old.
light of it.
We're not.
You know, it's
But he was on-
unfortunate. Yeah, he must
played-
have had a heart attack or something.
He played with the team from, actually won a national championship at the University of Texas,
Oh, good.
by the way.
Probably played with Tommy Nobis.
But he was on that Super Bowl team with Joe Namath,
Yeah.
and we certainly wanna
77
mention
years
that.
old, and unfortunately passed away like 2 days ago.
Yeah, during the week.
Yeah.
One note from Hollywood. This is kind of obscure. Remember the TV show The Rifleman?
I do.
Remember the son, Mark?
I do.
Johnny Crawford.
Johnny
his name
Crawford.
was. An original musketeer. Mouseketeer, or whatever.
Musketeer.
you know.
Sure.
Died at 75 years old.
Christ.
How
What does
about
that mean?
that?
Chuck Connors would be 343 by now?
Exactly. That show was pretty good, and we liked it, but
Again, Chuck Connors was, he played for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
he did.
He did.
He was tough as nails,
Oh,
too.
total tough as nails.
He could handle a shotgun with one hand. It was
I'm
that
sure he
big.
could handle himself in a bar fight, too.
But that was Johnny Crawford, 75 years old. He, didn't have a big Hollywood career outside that show, but that's kind of notable for
Sure,
the
he got a
nostalgia.
check from the Rifleman. So,
Or probably not. Back then, you didn't get the royalties you get
whatever.
today.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Johnny Crawford, 75.
Yeah, that's an obscure one.
Yeah. So listen, folks, thanks for joining us this week. It's like I said, it's May 1st. It's starting to get springtime here. COVID restrictions are lifting. Hope everybody's happy and healthy out there. And I can't wait to see
Yeah.
what's going
We
on.
love an email. Get your feedback on the draft, Kentucky Derby, and it's again, like you said,
It's Derby Day.
we're looking outside our studio here, and it's beautiful, sunny. The flowers are starting to, bloom, if you will, and
Post time is 6:50 Eastern Standard Time today. Enjoy the race, folks.
you got it.
And we'll be back with you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.